Well, good morning, everybody. I thought I'd come to you today. I just give you a little update on our big garden here, and some things is winding up. Most of it's winding down, though. What you're looking at right here, this is the broadleaf, curly leaf mustard, and we try to sow us a patch every fall to have some to eat on up till really about the middle of December or somewhere along in there. Just depends on the weather, how it does. But it's looking good. This is what we sowed. I sowed this patch right here, if you remember. This is where our watermelons were at. And I got that out. And then over here is our sweet potatoes. I still haven't dug those yet. I probably won't dig those till about the 1st of October. This is the 22nd of September, so we've got probably a couple more weeks. I'd kind of like to see it dry out just a little bit before I got in there and started messing with those, but I'm sure it's probably not real wet in there. It was kind of dry before we got this last rainfall. So, and I've dug just a handful out just to check on them. But we'll be doing that before long. I might make a video on that, I don't know. And then out toward the end, I might walk out there in a minute. I've got some green beans. We picked us a couple little mess off of those. They just have a different taste to them. But what I'm doing here today, our peas, they're basically pretty well finished. I'm just trying to go through and pick off all the seed that I can get. In the event that come next year we can't get none, at least I'll have this. And this is not my ideal way of saving seed. Everybody probably has their own little method of doing it, but if I'm going to save seed of something, I generally like to designate a location that is nothing but seed and do not harvest any green vegetable off of that plant. When I save a tomato, I usually try to pick the first tomato that comes on that vine, especially if it's perfect fruit, perfect size, no blemishes in it, no, it's not gnarled up. That's the one I try to save for seed. But I told my father-in-law, I said, remind me next year not to plant so many peas. So I don't know, we may not have quite this many next year. This was kind of like a beef up of our inventory, so that was one reason I tried to put so many out, because we just was running low on them. But thankfully I've got still got a good inventory of green beans, but we may try to add to that next year, because this year, you remember, the groundhogs got them, so I really wasn't able to get a whole lot off of that, but that will be next year. And other things, you know, I would love to be able to really beef up my tomatoes, and I'm really thinking about doing something over here with tomatoes next year. Mr. Howie at Cedar Creek Homestead's got a good idea. I love the way he does his. He has pipes driven in the ground right beside of his tomato plants, and that's where he pours his water, so that the water is directed right on those roots. And I kind of like that idea, and I don't know, I'm thinking of maybe something like that. And so I'd really love to beef up our tomato stock, because we do not have a big supply of tomatoes. And what I may do is just grow one kind of tomatoes at home, because I don't want to risk. I didn't save, the only seed that I saved of tomatoes this year was the Brandywines, and I didn't save my purples like I normally do, but I've got plenty of those seed anyway, so You know, I'm not hurting there. But the Cherokee Purple, I made this grow at home, and that be pretty much the only one that I have there. And, you know, go from there. And over here we may plant something else. I don't know. I'm thinking some other things that would be more beneficial to canning. But you can see here we grass is pretty well taking this. I need to get in here and pull this junk up and clean this up a little bit. I could probably pick another little mess of beans, but these are called providers. They said on the pack that they don't have a string in them, but they do, and they're okay. They're better than not having nothing at all. So, but I could probably pick another little mess of those to have to go with our meals, you know, that we have recently. So, but we did get all of our pumpkins out. I got 6 altogether from up here, 6 or 7, I can't remember for sure. Now I know we've got 3 or 4 down at the house in that little vine there at the edge of the woods. So I understand there's a pumpkin shortage this year. So I don't have one here, thankfully. So we've got some canned, and we've still got some yet to that needs to be processed. But I don't know. We'll probably use maybe a couple of them and may give some away. I don't know what we'll do. Anyway, we've got that, and then on the outside of this fence, I've got creasy greens sowed, as you remember. And I walked through just a while ago looking, and they're coming up. I see them. They're kind of sporadic. You don't want those real thick. You want those kind of spread out, because they spread out on the ground, kind of like a dandelion. If you're not familiar with a creasy, they kind of, I think they're kind of in that same family, so to speak. But maybe we can show. That's another thing I would love to be able to can this coming year, is creasy greens, because we love our creasy greens here. And so hopefully, Lord willing, we'll be able to do that this year. I have some that we put up last year, but they were some that we bought. We didn't grow them. I sowed some here, but this ground was, as I've stated before, it had been setting for several years, and it had growed up, and it really did not work up good. And plus we had a dry fall last year, and I think the deer helped themselves to it, so they worked on it too. So anyway, I don't want to just ramble along here. Just thought I would do a little update on gardening and what's going on. And we've got several other things we want to work on this year. We got the har together, so I can use it. That's what I'm thinking about doing right here. Once I get all these off, I need to get it up here. I want to cut this up. I'll leave the okra, because let it do whatever it's going to do. And but I'm going to go ahead and cut this up right here and just let it lay out through the winter. And that vegetation on those peas is actually good for the ground. They tell me there's a lot of nitrogen in that. So we'll see what the little har will do. And I've got to do some work on it still. That's why I hadn't already got a video up yet. I found the issue, the back discs were loose, and I wished I'd have saw that before I brought it back home, because I was in the shop and I had all the equipment there. I could have fixed it a whole lot easier. But we got new bolts in it, got them tightened up, but now I've got one side that I need to line it up. It's still pulling a little hard, dragging a little bit. So hopefully we can fix that. Won't be in a lot of trouble. So may work on that here in a little bit. I got to take these posts down and fixed to where I can get in here and back in here and see if we can't har this up. Try to clean this up just a little bit. And my Ford, I don't know, I might be able to pull in here and swing around and come back around that way. I don't know. We'll try it and see. And but I'll make a video of that. I promised I'd put a part 2 in there using it, so nothing don't happen. That's the plan there. But just look at this salad. That stuff is thick, boy. That'll be good about next month. Now, about next month, we ought to be able to start getting some of that. But we're starting to get into our fall stuff here. It's just hard to believe. I find it so hard to believe that this summer is gone. I mean, I think today's the first day of fall. And not that I'm complaining, I'm kind of glad to see the cool weather. I've noticed that Okra, since we've had some cooler nights and the days are a little cooler, I've noticed that it's slowing down on bearing anything. And so we just got a lot to look at here, or a lot that's going on. Seems like that it's all coming down to the end. And the sweet potatoes, I don't know, I kind of twisted back and forth whether to dig them with a tractor or dig them by hand. So I don't know, we'll see on that. I still got time to do it. My daddy's got a plow that's for potatoes, and I just saw something right here, folks. This is a creasy green. Right there. That's the leaf to it. Just happened to see that. And the field where we sowed the peas in, they're back up that way up there, this other side of those trees up there, that big cedar tree. I may walk up there in a minute. You know, I put the peas in there, black-eyed peas for the deer. And to my knowledge, I did sow some turnips up there. They're finding those. They're working on those pretty well, deer are. But to my knowledge, I know I have never sowed creasy greens up there in that field. But you can believe this or not, I was up here the other day. They're everywhere on the far end over this way. And I said that to say this. The good book tells us that it's our job, our responsibility as Christians to sow the seed, sow the Word of God. But the results are not left up to us. And the Bible talks about, you know, that one sows, another water, but God is the one that gives the increase. And this field here, reason I'm saying that, I'm getting somewhere with it. I'll give you just a little Sunday school lesson, it won't hurt you. But this field here, my wife would be third generation, I guess, of doing any farming on it. Of course, I'm doing it in her place. She's working full time, so she don't really have time to do it. But I thought about her grandfather, more than likely, is the one that sowed those creases years ago. We're gonna walk up there. Let's just walk up that way a second. All right. You can see right there. Now there's some of these probably I'll say by the time we get our first frost, we should be able to harvest some from here, because you don't want these things to get too big. They'll get tough. And I've not put any fertilizer on them. Usually you don't have to, but this ground right around in here is pretty rich anyway from those chicken houses. But yeah, I would not be surprised by the time our first frost comes about. But they're everywhere up here. And to my knowledge, I did not sow them. Now, I don't know who did. But got young'uns wanting to play up here. But I don't know if it's her grandfather or father. And I know her brothers tended this part right here for food plots for deer. Could have been he throwed some out, but I've never seen them here like this before. But anyway, said that to say this: you sow the seed, another person will come along and water it, and you may never see the fruit of it, but somebody down the road will. And you know, creases is one of those things that just, I don't know, I've always thought of that whenever I see it. You can see our turnips and stuff. This is just a mixture of a little bit of everything in here. There's turnips, radishes, mustard, kale. I don't see any kale though. Milkweed comes up wild out here. But we might get a turnip or two out of this. I sowed this as about the 1st of August. So anyway, I know I'm just rambling on. So I'm gonna get off of here, get down here and get some peas picked. And we might see if we can work on that har a little bit this afternoon. So see what we can get done there. So I want to say I appreciate every one of you that have subscribed to my channel recently. And I hope and trust that we can put some content on here that you will like, that others will like, and maybe just be something, a different thing to look at than the current situation that's going on in our world right now. And so, you know, anything that, because I'll be honest with you, I don't look at the news no more. I get mad. It's depressing, and I really don't care nothing about what they got to say. Don't believe half of what they tell no how. So a lot of things going on. Only thing I can tell you folks is pray and ask God for mercy, because without his mercy we don't have a chance. And we've got a group of people that's decided they want to pretty much destroy things, and life as we know it will never be the same if they get power. So that's all I'm going to say in regard to that. So anyway, I hope and trust we're doing some things that'll be encouraging, that'll be an uplift to people, and we can try to help somebody, showing them how we do things here. May not be the exact right way, but I just try to show what works for me. And so anyway, I'm gonna hush. I'm gonna get off of here. Find it hard to be quiet. So y'all have a great day, and be sure and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit like if you like this content, and we'll see you the next time. Have a great day.